EP, the show host. We got somebody in here as well, doing on the ones and twos. So I'm just gonna go out into this. First of all, I got a special shout out. First of all, Cassandra Stewart, sending rest in peace to her family. She lost a relative to gunshot wounds. So, Cassandra, we're praying for you all the way up in Columbus, Ohio. So, uh, rest in peace. Also, to the family of Vernon Jordan, longtime political analyst, African American, to Bill and Hillary Clinton. So, rest in peace. He passed away this week. Also, last week, longtime African American announcer Irv Cross, who passed away. He was on the NFL Today with Brent Musburger. So, rest in peace to the family of Irv Cross and everybody else like that. This show was sponsored, voiceofradio.com and Headlines and Headaches is sponsored by the Adams Board. Just if you have a problem with drugs or alcohol, then go to the Adams Board and give them a call and look them up online as well. So, first, I said my congratulations. And also, let's get down into it. The stimulus package was passed by the House and it was passed by the Senate. But there's a Republican Senator, Ron Johnson, who was holding up the proceedings at this particular point in time because he wants the full stimulus package read. Like, it would take 10 hours to read 632 pages of this bill. I don't know why he wants it read. The thing about it is like, it wasn't read when the big corporations was getting money from the previous president, Mr. Trump. By the way, update on yesterday that the QAnon conspiracy theorists thought that Trump was going to be inaugurated. They were out at the White House. You people are delusional. This man is lost to Biden. The inauguration was January 20th. You tried to stop it on January 6th of 2021. Stop it. It's over. Your boy lost again. And if you looked at the CPAC this past Sunday, where Trump was speaking at, talking about his race is not over, according to the New York State authorities, they have pulled his tax records. Anything wrong with those is going to be a problem, meaning this, that Trump will go to jail if he defrauds on his taxes, which we already know he did. How you going to pay $750 in 10 years and you are a billionaire? You know, you're going to be a broke billionaire. And he's still asking for contributions from the people that will still give it to him, which will damage the Republican Party because all these Senate races are coming up in 2022. So, yeah. Shut your silly behinds up. This man is not going to run again. He'll probably be in prison by the time 2024 comes around, so please stop it. Stop it. The thing about it is like the stimulus package has passed via to the Senate 51-50 with the deciding vote coming from Vice President Kamala Harris because the Democrats do have control of the Senate. And no Republican voted to pass that, and that includes the $1,400 stimulus checks. Shout out to Mary. Yeah, shout out to Mary Trevisano. Yeah, something's wrong with Johnson. And also Tanya Hubbard Thompson. Thank you very much for joining in on Facebook Live. I'm also on Instagram Live as well, just pulling everything up. So here's the thing. I'm just going to say this about this whole crazy situation, that we have absolutely problems here dealing in the particular as far as getting those checks out. The $1,400 checks that are supposed to go out. Listen, the stimulus money is going to be needed for people who are in the lower income brackets. There might be less money. They're still pushing for the $15 an hour minimum wage thing, which the Republicans are in disagreement with, but they have no problems giving their money to the big old corporations who get millions and millions of dollars in salary a year. What about the common man? What about me and you that are listening on this broadcast online, on Facebook, on IG, or at home, or on your smartphone, from wherever you are, whether you're at work or at home with the children? There's still virtual schools and stuff that are still going on, but some of the children are going back to school. Governor Mike DeWine of Ohio says that they're going to be there's going to be a major vaccination facility that's going to be at the Woolstein Center that's in Cleveland State, like on 18th and Prospect. And it's going to be open 7 days a week if you want to get vaccinated or not. I know African Americans, we don't trust the vaccines. Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson are the ones that have vaccines out. The latest one is Johnson & Johnson. And let me just say this. I'm just going to say this, that if you are wary about taking those vaccines, I understand that. But the thing about it is that the coronavirus pandemic is still real. It's still upon us. Everybody's still doing Zoom, virtual, things of that nature. Matter of fact, there was in Congressional District 11 here in Ohio, there was a meeting of the candidates because Marcia Fudge is now in President Joe Biden's cabinet as far as being the HUD director. So there's an open seat. Candidates are Shirley Stafford Strickfold, Jeff Johnson, Shontel Brown, who is also the Iowa Democratic chair, Nina Turner, Tariq Shabazz, and a whole other list. Shall remain to name them. And the thing of that nature is this. You have to select your candidates wisely. Oh, by the way, in the city of Cleveland, there's a city council and mayoral's race going on. So you might want to look at that if you're in the city. Like I said, I brought somebody in a couple of weeks ago. I wasn't here last week because it was quality time with me and my son Jalen, and that could not wait. So I had to hold the show. Hope you enjoyed the replay from last week. But I am back live now. That means that I am back wreaking havoc on these crazy politicians that think they can get away with absolute murder, because we still have them out there. We still have crazies like Marjorie Taylor Greene, things of that nature. Speaking of crazies, the trial for Derek Chauvin, yes, that Derek Chauvin who was charged with second-degree murder of George Floyd, the former police officer Derek Chauvin, his trial is March 8th, yes, this Monday coming up. So the City Hall at Minnesota, I guess, where the trial is being held, is being reinforced with steel, with everything else, with barbed wire, so nobody can come in and try to do anything to Derek Chauvin if the prisoners haven't done anything first. So, listen, watch like I said, from last year when they brought this man in and the other three officers. Watch this trial closely to see if George Floyd gets justice, because George Floyd deserves justice. He was an unarmed black man. He wasn't shot by the police. Chauvin had his knee on his neck until George Floyd suffocated and died. And those youth that think that George Floyd was high or on something else like that, swear for God, some of the racist comments I've seen on social media is making me very, very ill. And the thing about it is that we must watch these things as far as George Floyd, things of that nature, and all the stuff like that. And the thing about it is that I hate to say this, but if George Floyd doesn't get justice, then there's going to be extreme distress and rioting in every single community, because that man was murdered right in front of us. We were all at home. We saw it. This was disgusting, disturbing, things of that nature. Yeah, he better get justice, Mary. Shout out to Gregory Stringer. Thank you very much, Gregory. It's crazy. This is crazy that we have to go through all this just to get justice for a murder. This was not an arrest. This was a murder. Just like Sandra Bland, just like Trayvon Martin, just like Tamir Rice. This was a murder. This was nothing like, just like the people that got shot and killed in East Cleveland by police. This was a murder. This was a murder. By the way, East Cleveland police officer Larry McDonald, and I'm taking my name back from him, Killer McDonald, should be arrested. He should not be an officer. He should be arrested. He should be thrown under the jail for what he's done. I'm just, the thing about it is like what I'm sick and tired of seeing is that these officers get no charges or a slap on the wrist for killing somebody. Now, deadly force is supposed to be used as a last resort. That's why everybody's talking about defund the police. That's why we got these uproars and things of that nature now. And for those QAnon people, supporters that talk about Trump this, Trump that, Trump is nothing but a piece of garbage. And he's been a piece of garbage for the past 4 years. And you must move on from that. And the fact of the matter is that the guy with the horns, the QAnon Shalaman, who felt disappointed because Trump didn't pardon him, well, he wasn't going to pardon you in the first place. Sorry. Unless your name was Roger Stone or Lil Wayne, he wasn't going to pardon you. And I felt like Lil Wayne paid $1 million to get pardoned before he got charged. Just saying. Other things that are also ticking me off right about now is that some of the people who advocate and who are activists for communities have lost their way. They've been fighting each other instead of advocating the system that has destroyed the African American community, that has helped to put the African community where it is right now. So I'm going to talk more about that, but on a lighter note, I'm going to talk about the two movies that I'm going to talk about, Judas and the Black Messiah and Coming to America 2. And we're going to take a break. When we come right back, I'm going to talk more about those, plus the WWE. This is Headlines and Headaches, Larry H. Gardner.